What's going on, guys? TKD1 to the video, and today we're going to talk about the Xbox One Scorpio that has been touted about a few times here on Twitter and everything, all of that, because they just got a reveal with Digital Foundry. We're going to get all up into it. Now, as I said before, they had this whole, reveal with Digital Foundry. And I was seeing, a lot, just on, comments and Twitter posts about people saying that, oh yeah, this is gonna be the official Scorpio reveal. Like, no, this is gonna, this was further from the truth, and that is something that I also had my opinion on, was that, there was no way that, Microsoft was gonna give their kind of, shining light, their kind of, I guess, main focal point right now going into E3 or whatever, to have their brand new console be revealed by anybody else but them. I'm sure Microsoft wants to, unveil Scorpio, the actual aesthetic of it and all of the features of it, on their own terms, and they want to do it with the message, and they want to control how people perceive the Scorpio right now. So I definitely feel like they wouldn't have given that up to just do it with Digital Foundry. And I said this, and I thought about this before, was that this reveal, in quotes, is a reveal in quotes. It's not going to be the full Scorpio reveal. It is just a tech spec reveal. I'm saying, it is just where we're gonna know, all these specs that we will get into later in the video, but that is essentially what exactly we got here on the Digital Foundry reveal. Now, at this event, we did not get an official name for the Xbox Scorpio, or another. Did we get a retail price? We didn't get any of those things. Obviously, we didn't get those things because that is coming from Microsoft finally talks about the Scorpio again. These are clearly for that reveal and not necessarily for this one. However, in this one, we did get a couple quotes from themselves, Digital Foundry, and they said that, quote, console hardware design pushed to a new level with a meticulous focus on appealing to the core gamer. So it looks like here, and it really, there really has been kind of this overall kind of vibe we're getting with Scorpio, right? And it's that this console is definitely not for the average consumer, not even for, I would say, the casual gamer consumer. I wouldn't even say that. I would feel that this is for people that is hardcore about gaming. I'm talking that are in it, whether it's their passion that they spend a bunch of time on, whether it's if they're writers at websites, or they're game publishers, or they people that work at game companies. These are people where gaming is a part of their of their everyday life, right? Is what the Scorpio is for. And they're and it looks like here that maybe with that testament, the price will kind of fall in line with that as well, where it will be kind of a higher price game console that we've had in history. And of course, with that price, with kind of them kind of making this whole thing a premium console, there's definitely going to be a lot of good specs in the Scorpio, and they actually unveiled that at the conference for Digital Foundry. They did it there. Obviously, it was for the technical specs, and that is all we really got from this event, was just the specs for the Scorpio, and we also got some other things involving some games that we'll go to in a little bit. But going on to the CPU, is going to be 8 custom x86 CUDA cores right there. It's going to be 6 teraflops on the GPU, 12 gigabytes of RAM, 326 gigabytes of memory bandwidth, a vapor chamber for cooling, which is interesting, and then a terabyte hard drive. So going back to the central processing unit of the Scorpio, right, we have 8 cores that are clocked at 2.3 gigahertz to be specific. Now, these are custom, laid out cores, right? And in terms of the PS4 Pro, we have 8 Jaguar cores, but they're clocked at 2.1 gigahertz. So definitely here we see a little bit of boost in the CPU department, but it's not really that, intensive and that crazy. And just in terms of the Xbox One, they had 8 custom Jaguar cores as well, but those were clocked at 1.75 gigahertz. So definitely here we have a definite improvement if we're jumping from the Xbox One to the Scorpio. But if we're talking from the PS4 Pro to the Scorpio, it's a little bit more, I guess, comparable in that, way of comparing it. However, we see more, better boosts in terms of the RAM of the systems here. So with the PS4 Pro, we got 8 gigs, of course, and with the, Project Scorpio, we are getting 12 gigabytes of RAM. They're the same type of RAM, but when you look at the memory bandwidth, right, when you look at how much, throughput and how much data the RAM can put through per second, right, we're looking at 326 gigabytes for the Scorpio and then 218 gigabytes for the Pro. So definitely there's a big jump there. That's a big leap, obviously. obviously. So so definitely there in that department, definitely does the Scorpio reign supreme on that front. And also another thing that I really still continues to be like, how did this happen, is that the Scorpio is getting the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray drive as opposed to the PS4 Pro that just got the regular Blu-ray drive. Now, just in case you're unaware, Sony owns the Blu-ray name. Like Sony owns Blu-ray. Sony owns and patents any Blu-ray, drive or disc. So that means that for every, Scorpio or every Xbox One that's being put out, Sony's getting a little bit of that cut because they have to pay for the Blu-ray rights to use the technology in their console, right? So, but my only thing is that how did the PS4 Pro not get the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray drive as opposed to them just getting the regular Blu-ray drive? Now, of course, that could be for cost, things, or they wanted to cut costs, whatever. And of course, there can be an argument said where like, well, how relevant is physical media nowadays? Because that is dying off, with the rise of streaming and everything. We are seeing a definite kind of at least downhill trend as of now. I'm not saying that it's completely irrelevant. That's absolutely not true. But there is a growing kind of just unreliance and really just not just not so much of an emphasis on physical media. So that can be said too. But I just don't get how did this happen? Like, how did they get a better Blu-ray drive than the people that actually own the Blu-ray drive and actually own the name and own the licensing and own the brand of the Blu-ray drive? But hey, you know what, man? Like, that's neither here or there. Now, going into the department of the GPU, obviously kind of like the main thing that I guess that we're all concerned about really, in terms of games, they are both running the AMD Radeon, kind of level. So if we're talking about Scorpio or the PS4 Pro, they're both running AMD hardware, right? But the difference here is the kind of, way it's clocked at, right? So on the Scorpio end of things, it is clocked at 1172 megahertz as opposed to the PS4 Pro that is running at 911 megahertz, right? And just for comparison's sake, Xbox One was running at 853 megahertz. So obviously right there, the proof is in the numbers here that the Scorpio is obviously, and I feel like if you were to even try and like debate this before this happening, I don't understand how you would. But clearly the Scorpio was more powerful than the PS4 Pro, and it already is. Like, that's already been a thing that I felt was common knowledge, but apparently some people thought that they weren't going to do it. I was obviously convinced ever since E3 2015, I think, no, 16, right? When they first announced it, that obviously that this was going to be more powerful, than the PS4 Pro. But that's just me. And then they, kind of showed the Scorpio out, with some games, and, they immediately honed in on Forza Motorsport, right? So they got the game to run in native 4K, not checkerboard 4K, not fake 4K, like an actual, native true resolution 4K at 60 frames per second, which was something that, okay, like that is cool to tout, whatever, but we're talking about a racing game here, and racing games clearly are what people like to bring out on a new console because they are the games that that are easy to develop for and easy to show a technical graphical fidelity, and a definite upgrade in graphics. It is easier to show on a racing game, and that's obviously being shown here as well. However, they did say that while the Scorpio was running Forza Motorsport at 4K at that frame rate, they were saying that they were only using 60 to 70% of the GPU's power, right? But then they said, well, okay, let's say this is on Windows PC. Let's say it was running at ultra settings, like the highest things that you can ever put it at, right? Like, let's say they were to max out the actual specs of Forza Motorsport, the GPU would be only running at 88% at that. So they, kind of here are implying that there's plenty of overhead to use in the system, and this is really going to be a powerful thing. My thing is that, okay, again, we're talking about a racing game here. We're not talking about, something open world and, that has a vast, like a lot of things in the game, like The Witcher 3 or Mass Effect Andromeda. Isn't it? Like when we get those games running at 4K 60, then we'll talk. But, obviously, we're gonna hit that pretty easily with a racing game. And no, you know, that's not me, you know, just back talking or slandering, whatever. Yo, listen, the Scorpio is very, very powerful. I'm not trying to deny that. I'm not, you know, trying to say that, oh, my, you know, near and dear PS4, you know, is gonna be way better still. Like, no, like, come on, like, you know, like, it's not about that. I'm just putting it into a little bit more perspective here in terms of, okay, yeah, they say, you know, the Scorpio can run 4K and it can run 60, but, you know, we gotta look at it from a game to game perspective, because not all games are created equal, not games are the same in terms of the overall demandingness of the system that it runs on. And there are like a bunch of other things that we can talk about here about this reveal, but kind of just you know, things that I just don't really care about really. But like if we go into the overall price right now, listen, like now we are going into E3 here pretty soon. I'm going to give my overall impressions and my overall, I guess, predictions of E3 2017, you know, a little bit prior to the actual showcases. However, just to give a little tidbit, right, a little bit of things I'm thinking about right now, things are stewing right now in my minds, right. A lot of people are saying that the name of this console is going to be Xbox One X. Now, the reason why I don't really like that name is because it's so close to the Xbox One S, right? S, X, those can clearly be, you know, misconstrued in a way. Those can clearly be, you know, a little bit weird. And of course, that looks good on marketing. Like, you know, it looks good, it looks clean. But my only concern is the difference, you know, in how the letters of S and X sound a little bit too close to each other. So that's why I feel that, you know, maybe it won't be named that. And plus, we have that same thing with COD 4 Remastered and Modern Warfare 4, right? So people, you know, were wanting to get, Modern Warfare 4 as the next name of Call of Duty. But if you think about it, the original, you know, Modern Warfare was called Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. And to have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, that would be, you know, it runs into the same issue here of naming things that sound a little bit too close to each other. And then we're talking about pricing, right? Now, pricing, they have said this time and time again that, you know, that like this is going to be a premium console, right? Obviously, like this is going to be something that, again, the, you know, gaming enthusiast is going to buy, not the average consumer. And I'm saying that this is going to be priced over $400, right? Definitely going to be more expensive than the PS4, right? But it's really falls down to by how much, right? I think if they launch at $500, I think that's a safe price. I think it's obviously it's a lot, but I feel like for what you're getting here, for what you know, is out and available right now, for what is getting in, you know, for really getting the most powerful console you can get right now, I feel that $500 is a price that, you know, can be formidable, that, you know, it can be okay. Right now, what I think they're gonna hit, I think they're gonna hit $500. Like, I think that's gonna be the price, man. Like, I don't see it going, I don't see them putting out this for $600. I don't think they want another PS3, you know, 2006 thing on their hands. I don't think they want that, obviously. You know, with all the bad publicity with Xbox One and the start of those, you know, of this whole thing with the console thing, it was definitely a bad thing for them to have the Xbox One to come out with all those bad things out the gate. So I feel like they definitely don't want to repeat that, and having a $600 price tag would have probably repeated the same thing. So I'm thinking $500 is it, but we'll see at E3 2017. And on that note, if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share down below. Appreciate all the videos you give me. Thanks for watching, and as always, I got you.